All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Listen, if you guys haven't seen my Shatterline video the other day, I talked about how, kind of flying under the radar, the Shatterline developers are removing the game from Steam, coming to Epic Game Store, and integrating NFTs and Web3 into the game. I made the video. It's kind of popping off a little bit, and I don't think a lot of people were actually aware that this is what was actually going on, because the developers have been just not very transparent about this entire, shift in the focus of their game. If you guys haven't seen that video, I'll have a link down below. Go check that out before we jump into this, because we now have a Shatterline Q&A which took place yesterday, and I want to go through the code-filled questions and answers and talk about this entire situation. I am apparently mentioned in this Q&A, so we'll get to that as well. There's only a couple days left on our BenQ Mobius giveaway for all of my people in North America, so if you guys want to join the giveaway, the link will be down below. You can get yourself a new monitor if you win that contest. All right, so going through this Q&A and picking out the most important things, obviously, like Frag Labs and Faraway are partnering together because their focus is on growth and bringing in a new community of players. So if you're not down for NFTs, fuck off. They don't care about you. They're trying to gather new players. The goal is growth. I'm just going to quote it here. The goal is growth to the game, the community, and the audience. So where I think they're wrong in that statement is the fact that their entire community right now is revolting. They're starting to leave negative reviews. The subreddit is blowing up. The Discord is pissed off. But what's happening is, as those old players are starting to say fuck off, you're now bringing in crypto bros that don't actually care about the state of the game, the health of the game. They want to figure out how they can flip some drone JPEGs to sell to other people who might not understand what's going on, or like it's an ecosystem of people who just want to make money. They don't care about the game itself, because from everything I've seen on the internet with all of these discussions, watching things like Earth 2 and Star Atlas, these guys have no idea about actual game development and giving feedback. They just care about the ecosystem and the monetization. Anyways, moving on, the reason they say they're leaving Steam is because, well, Steam bans all games with NFTs. The integration is a lot safer on Epic Games. So, I mean, hey guys, Steam doesn't allow what we're doing. They ban it all, so we're doing it anyway. A little bit of self-awareness here would be fucking great, guys. But somebody asked, will Shatterline ever go back to Steam? They say they want to, but their current focus is on Epic Games. Maybe later, if Steam changes their policies, you might see Shatterline again, but for now, there's just no way it can do it because it's against Steam's terms of service, which is why you're going to be seeing the game be removed from Steam and go to Epic Games. But the question you probably have is, well, what happens if I have stuff in my account on Shatterline, whether or not I purchased it or earned it in game? Like, do those things transfer over? Are we going to get some sort of account migration? Nope. A full account migration from Steam to Epic Games is unfortunately not realistic. They cannot promise a one-to-one transfer. But guys, they're going to present the community with several options on what they can do in terms of either offering rewards, maybe in the terms of drones you can use in the game, or, they're going to figure out what the best option is for you guys. So the real answer is they have no fucking idea, but chances are anything you have in your inventory is probably not coming over. A lot of people have asked me in the past about a console release. Truthfully, they say they're not there yet. They want the game to be perfect on PC, and by perfect, they mean like crypto bro riddled and whatever the hell this is going to be. When asked how they're actually going to acquire new players, the question, it's a solid one. Like, how's this going to bring new people to the game? Guys, they're actively working on prize pools for both normal players and creators. So, content creators are going to be incentivized to invite others into the game, but for things like, I don't know, maybe like net shared revenue share. Ooh, they're also going to be doing Twitch drops, which, as far as I'm aware, they've only done one Twitch drop campaign in the past 3 fucking years, and I don't know if it went well. I have no idea, but now they're going to focus on doing it again. Why didn't you do this throughout the last 2 years? Oh, and guys, they're also adding what they're calling a fantasy sports layer to the game. So it's going to exist completely outside of the game itself, but get this, guys. pro Shatterline players will have cards that are of them. They're going to be NFTs, of course. Players can acquire these cards, and the pro player's performance determines the performance of that card. This is going to allow players that are less competitive but still want to participate to use these cards in a fantasy environment. What? And like, I'm not even fucking making this up. This is exactly how they explain why this is coming to fruition.
I'll just say one of the big things in Web3 is there's the game, but there's always this meta or economic layer that forms around the game. You know, sometimes people are lending out their assets to other people to compete. But for us, one of the things that we're doing is adding this fantasy sports layer to the game. This will exist completely out of the game, but it'll keep people involved that wouldn't necessarily be the most competitive on leaderboards, but still want to participate in the game and game economy.
What they mean by people who might not be able to compete on leaderboards are the people they're actively trying to seek for this game. These are people who don't know how to play games at that level, but still want to, you know, be involved in the economy. So crypto bros, just fucking say it.
Think of it as, you know, pro players basically have cards. Those cards are of them as like a pro player. So it's like your card. It's your NFT card. People can acquire those cards. They can play basically a fantasy sport version of the game with the stats. Think of it as like the pro player that's playing, their performance determines that card's performance. And people can basically stake those cards and play the game without really playing the game, right? So they can basically play on a kind of like proxy vicariously through that pro player. And the cool thing with the pro players is, you know, if the pro players are winning and they have a lot of people that are picking up their cards, then they also get rewarded and they don't have to do anything. And again, this doesn't affect game balance at all. What it does do is it creates a layer for people that are, you know, spectating to basically play fantasy sports. So it's like fantasy sports on top of like baseball or football or whatever else. And that's another kind of like cool integration that doesn't really touch the gameplay directly, but does deliver something that's actually pretty interesting to the Web3 community and should be beneficial to the players as well.
And just how it's beneficial to the actual players, well, that's a great question. Now, the video I released, obviously I was pissed off at the fact that they haven't disclosed any of this stuff. They've been discussing it with this company. Faraway came out in their Discord and said they've been working with Shatterline for over 2 years to get this integration going. Somebody actually asked them in this Q&A, have you really been working together for 2 years? Their answer, and I want you guys to keep focus here.
There's been some questions about us working together for 2 years on this. I think somewhere there was like a misinterpretation. So we first started talking to the Shatterline team in general. This was back in 2022. And we were exploring, you know, what a blockchain integration could look like. But back in 2022, it just wasn't the right time. You know, they were focused on gameplay, and that was the right decision. And then in 2023, again, like focused on gameplay, and that was the right decision. But, you know, we kept exploring, and eventually, you know, something made sense. And we, you know, again, like everybody here, like everybody on the Frag Lab or on the Faraway teams, everybody wants to see, you know, more players come to the game. And I assume players also want to see more and different types of rewards, you know, come to the game as well. So even though we've been exploring something since 2022, nothing was implemented until more recently.
While the game is still in early access with no release date in sight, it feels like there's a time and space to integrate these new types of rewards and Web3. They've been exploring options since 2022, but nothing was decided or implemented until more recently. Now, with that, somebody then asked them how they feel about my video from a few days ago, which I think is sparking this huge conversation around this game. Their answer is insane.
I think wasn't his main complaint that this was planned in the background since 2022. I believe
one of his complaints, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just addressed that a little bit earlier, that we've explored it, but nothing was concretely planned. So I think what would have been better for BigFry to do would be like reach out, get like clarification before making a video. But of course, everybody loves to engagement farm.
You literally just said that you have been talking with this company since 2022. It wasn't the right time for an integration, so things got shelved. You then picked up conversations again in 2023. The conversation kind of went somewhere. You thought maybe they could get something done. Maybe it's not the right time. You then shelved it again. And then in 2024, now's the time for the integration. So realistically, you guys have been fielding options for Web3 and crypto NFT integration since 2022. Yeah, sure, nothing was decided. Maybe contracts weren't signed, but to sit there and try to gaslight everybody and say that we weren't even, like, this wasn't even a thing in 2022. Listen, you don't talk to companies and try to figure out ways whether or not it works or not. Here's the thing, in 2022, you discussed it and you thought about it, and then you realize if you're even thinking about it, that tells me that it's on the table. And then if the company comes back a year later or however long later, and you guys are talking again and trying to figure it out, maybe it's not the right time, we're focused on other avenues, let's talk in the future. And then now we're doing it. You have been planning this since 2022. It just might have not been the right time for the integration. But don't sit here and try to gaslight me and lie to your community by saying that it's not true, that this hasn't been planned in the background. It might not have been planned very well, what we're seeing from the account integrations coming from Steam to Epic, which aren't existing. Like, we're not saying you guys have done a good job planning it, but don't fucking lie and don't gaslight your community. To sit there and say I should have reached out to you and then equate it to me just trying to farm engagement. If I wanted to farm engagement, Shatterline would be literally one of the last games I would go to for engagement. The reason I covered it is because I had a lot of faith in you guys. I believed in the vision, and Shatterline has been struggling for years, but it was a really good game at one point that you guys just squandered all potential at it. So yeah, I'm gonna cover it. It's not for every video I make, I want my people to see it. If that constitutes farming engagement, then sure. Of course, I make videos for people to see them. Nothing I said was inaccurate. All of this stuff is now coming out into the public light because I talked about it. Because you guys failed to let your people know in your initial post when you said you were removing the game from Steam. No mention of NFTs, no nothing. Nobody knew about it. The gaslighting and the lying is off the fucking charts right now. But here's the thing, they go on to say that BigFry is still a great content creator and a good guy. Maybe in the future when he sees the game, I don't want to talk about NFT crypto integration in games. I haven't seen it work yet. If you guys break the norm, it might be a thing. Do I have faith that you're going to do it? Absolutely not, because you guys have been lying about this entire situation from the jump. Hell, you guys, like I said in my last video, you didn't even have the balls to announce it in your announcement that you're removing the game from Steam. You made no mention of NFTs and crypto because you knew the backlash was going to be significant and you knew that you would have to face the music. You sold your entire community up the river. You're in the middle of an early access development. You're removing the game from Steam, going to a different platform, and now not even able to promise that the people that either bought things in their account or earned things in their account are going to bring things over. It is pathetic that you were sitting here talking about, everyone loves engagement. Oh, it's not true. You lied. You got caught, you got called out, and now you're dealing with the consequences. I will have a link to the entire Q&A down below. I'm not going to go through every single question, but it's funny. A lot of the questions are like, hey, where's custom games? Why are the servers lagging? Are you guys going to think about changing things? Literally everything that people ask for is like, we have a priority list, guys, but thank you for the feedback, but we're focusing on other things right now. And when you look around the landscape, the focus is on fucking NFTs. Like, that's the sole focus of the game right now, is getting this drone Web3 integration in. Like literally scrolling through this list. Hold on here. Custom games. Are these in the works? Maybe we'll get back to it, but you won't see it anytime soon. You scroll down a little bit. The game servers are choppy. Are the intentions to change providers? They say we don't plan on switching providers. Are there plans to add options to play against PvP AI? That requires a lot of work. At the moment, we're not working. What are you working on? The game's been in development for it's been public development for 3 years. You guys worked on, what are you doing? This person asked, like, can we bring back the longer 4-section version of the PvE mode? Yeah, we see what you mean. Please add it to the feedback list. We'll talk about it. Can we get separate loadouts for PvP and PvE? Yeah, it's gonna add double the load onto the database, which is why we don't have it. Okay, this question here, is there gonna be new weapons or maps in the full release of the game? Yeah, we'll see if there's unreleased content that we can add into the full release, but the focus is currently on the PvE game modes, since this is the easiest game mode to introduce new and casual players to. What they don't say is it's also the easiest mode to bring these NFTs into, which is what we're gonna use to monetize the shit out of the game. This person asks, is there gonna be plans to implementing a server browser so you can select and join an existing lobby instead of waiting in long queue times? These server browsers can be very easily exploitable, so that's gonna be difficult. What do you mean easily exploitable? Server browsers have been around since the 90s. Custom lobbies might be more likely, but when resources and progression is earned, lobby browsers can be abused very easily, so this is not planned. Just make custom lobbies unranked. It's not that fucking hard. You guys are doing everything in your power to not give the players what they're asking for. Yet at the same time, all throughout this, you guys keep saying about how feedback is so crucial and they want to build this game with the community. Everything that has to do with not NFTs is being completely shut down in this Q&A. But when you're talking about, oh, these NFTs, these HVs, this fucking fantasy football ass card thing that's going to be happening outside the game, that's where our focus is. What a great early access development. A question I've seen a lot in the last year or so about expedition runs. So Stagger in PvE kills a lot of new player expedition runs. This person asks, like, it's bad for player retention. Do you plan on changing this? We don't have a proper answer on this right now. We have to look at the data and talk to the design. What are you guys doing? It seems to me like the last year or so has been spent on this integration. Your focus has definitely shifted from making a game that people actually want to fucking play to making a game that can bring in a brand new crowd of crypto bros. You're going all in on this bet. And normally I would say, like, you know, more power to you, kudos, good luck. This time around, I actually hope, based on this fucking Q&A and the fact that you guys have been lying, you're gaslighting your community and everything that has transpired over the past 4 days, I hope you actively fall flat on your face. This entire Q&A was a joke, spawned because your community is starting to revolt, and you can just see in their responses that anything regarding the actual game health, game balancing, or feature sets for the game itself is met with either we don't know or we don't care. But when it comes to talking about, you know, HVs and faraway and fucking crypto and NFTs, they definitely seem way more excited about that. I'm going to have a link to the Q&A here. It is on Reddit. It was posted by a user named Solus Centaur. I appreciate you compiling all of these answers. I believe there is also a video floating around where you can listen to the responses. I guess this happened on Discord. The whole thing's pathetic. As somebody who was an avid, supporter of Shatterline in its early days, and to watch where this game has gone, making changes the community hated about expeditions and how you actually, unlock skins and cosmetics, and then to watch this happen is fucking insane. It only makes trust in early access products worse. And when you think about this game here, we were all sold on a vision for the game. Back in the day, developers said no Web3, no crypto, no nothing. It was all a lie. I just don't think this is the pivot that brings people to the game. It might bring some crypto bros in, but they're not going to stick around. They're not loyal to you. They're loyal to their wallets. And good luck. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Big Fry, and I'll see you on the next one.